So now I'm recording. So I missed everything you said, Ashley.
It's okay.
I'm sorry. I'm sure it was awesome. Dang it. So fill me in.
Oh, I was just talking about the reason why I started, why I became a coach, and how it totally evolved into something different and bigger.
hmm
I see this more as a movement than, like as a life purpose.
Right, for sure. Um, I can't see any. Is everybody on their phones?
I think a lot of people are on their phones, but I see a
Okay,
lot of people, yeah.
cool. Um, so my name. Do you want me to just talk about my story?
Mm-hmm.
My name is Felicia, and I have been coaching for 3 years. And it kind of started after having baby number 5. Couldn't lose the weight, and then I started going to the local rec center and started doing Insanity Live and fell in love with doing Insanity Live. Um, and then about 6 months later, my sister signed up as a coach, and she was like, "You should do this. This is great." She had already seen a ton of success doing Insanity Asylum. She did both of them. Like, she did Sanity Asylum, and Asylum 2. She was crazy. Those are hard workouts. I love them, though. And she signed up as a coach, and she was like, "You should join me. This is great. And you're already helping people. You might as well just help more people." And I kind of pushed it away, and I was like, I don't want anything to do with it. I don't need a shake. I don't need a workout. I already have my class. I don't need anything. And I told her no. And then a couple months later, like 4 or 5 months later, she was like, "Just try the shake. Just try it." And so she gave me a couple samples. So I tried it for 2 days. And after the second day, I was like, "Sign me up." I was like, I had more energy because I was going throughout the day, and I would just crash at 3 o'clock. The kids would get home, and I was just like, just put me to bed right now. And so I drank it for those 2 days, and I loved it. And so I signed up immediately. And I honestly didn't do anything with the first year of the business. I focused on myself, and I was teaching classes, and I focused on that heavily for the first year. And then I went to not a super Saturday, a summit, a Beachbody Summit in Tennessee, and saw all of these amazing trainers. Got to work out with Sean T, who is my I just want him to be my friend. Why are we not friends? That's what I want to know. He gave me a high five and everything. It was like life changing. He was like in my face, and I was like, "Oh yeah, high five me. I'm never washing my hand again." It was really awesome. Went to that and came home, and I was like fired up, and I was like, I'm gonna help people. So I started helping people, and just started building my business and doing what I was already doing and just working out from home. And I wasn't really working out from home that first year because I was teaching so many classes. And after Summit, one of the coaches said, "You need to commit to a 30-day program." And so I was like, okay, I'm going to commit to a program. So I did. And then from there on out, I've committed every month to do the workout every single day. And I have for the last 2 years. And I've absolutely loved working out at home. I don't have to take my kids to the daycare, which they hate. Especially when I have to teach, they refuse to go. I have to bribe them heavily to go to the daycare for when I teach. And now I'm only down to 4 classes, which is super exciting because I'm only teaching Insanity and P90X. And before I was teaching 17 classes. You guys, that is crazy amount of classes. My body hated me. So I had to stop. I really had to like cut back and be like, I can only teach a certain amount. And so as of next week, I only have 4 classes, and I am so excited because I've been able to commit to programs because I'm only teaching those 4 classes, and those classes are for my participants and not for me. And so I do my workout at home, and I love it because I can do it every day, and it doesn't matter what time of day. I can just do it. And so I don't know, it's kind of my mission to help as many people as possible because I fall in love with the products. I know they work. I've seen my body change and transform into something that I've not ever seen, and it's fantastic. It's really exciting, actually. I was just watching a slideshow that they had at the Church for Young Women's and seeing camp, and I was able to do all those things because of being able to work out. I was able to go on the hikes. I was able to run around and find people because I was in the best shape ever. And granted, you're in high altitude, but I was able to do all those things. And it was fantastic to be able to know that I was in shape enough to do that. And let alone, like, I know people are always hesitant about Shakeology and they don't want to be salesy. But I'm like, if you love something enough, don't you want to share it with people? So it's like if you go and you buy your favorite curling iron and you're like, it is the best, well, flat iron, I guess that people don't really curl their hair anymore. It's the best flat iron ever, and it gives you the best curls. I don't know how to do that, by the way, so if you do, you should show me. You're going to share that with people, and you're going to say, you need to go get this flat iron. You need to use this product because it's going to make your hair look amazing, just like your hairstylist does it. And if you find something that works for you, share it. That's all you're doing, is sharing what you love about it and sharing the workouts and committing to do one and holding yourself accountable in that group every single night before I go to bed. I'm like, I have to check into my group and I need to see how my girls are doing and check in with them because I want to make sure they know that I am supporting them and I want them to succeed. And if they are struggling, to reach out to me because I know it can be a struggle. Eating is, I always say it's like 80-20, but, or like some people say 70-30, but I was like, eating for me, it's like an 85-15 rule. I have to eat really clean or else my body it just doesn't like me anymore if I eat the junk, which I'm eating a donut, by the way, so my body's not going to like me tomorrow. Anyway, that's what they had, and I had bacon, so I had my protein, so. Anyway, I just love coaching. I love being able to open up and share my story about it because I'm an introvert by nature. I don't like opening up and being vulnerable with people, and I've had to open up and be vulnerable about mental health awareness and just helping people that way because it has been a struggle for the past 7 months now. I still feel like I was in this haze. I'd lost my mom 7 months ago, and she took her own life. So I feel like it's my mission almost to help people who have the depression, who have the mental illness, and who are struggling from inside, but they don't want to reach out because it's scary and it's not something that you want to admit that you have a problem with. I really want to help people with that because I feel like since that happened to me, my mental shift has changed, and it's been a huge struggle the last 7 months to even find the motivation to work out, to even want to eat healthy, to want to do anything. And I was doing good up until July. And then life stopped. It wasn't as busy anymore. And then it was like, oh, now what? And I mean, it was still busy because I have 5 kids, but it was almost like an overwhelming busy. And even as of lately, it's been a struggle to get through. And now with the time change, it gets dark at 5:30, which is awful. And I want to go to bed at like 7 o'clock, and it's it's miserable. And so I've been looking into different things to help me cope. And exercise is my coping mechanism right now to help me stay motivated and to do something for me. Because I could be running around all day long. And thank you, Brandy. That was so sweet. I can run around all day long with kids, but if I just take 30 minutes for myself, I feel so much better. And sometimes it takes me an hour to get that 30 minutes in, but I'm getting it done and I'm showing up and I'm doing the work and I can see the results and I can see the change within myself, and it's helping me feel so much better. It's lifting my mood. If I'm feeling like I just want to be, like the other day I did a quarter force and it was a boxing punching one, and it felt great to just sit there and be like, I just want to punch something. It felt great to do that, and I have the opportunity to do that. This week I've been kind of all over the place because they're releasing 80-Day Obsession, which I love. If you are not trying that workout, you need to just at least preview it because it is, holy cow, your buns are going to be on fire for the rest of your life. Like the last 2 weeks, I'm like, I cannot move. Like, what is happening? And it's been fantastic, but I want to open it up. You guys having questions. That's kind of me in a nutshell. And it's just all about changing lives and sharing something that I love and something that I'm passionate about and helping people find their voice and find a way to get out of that depression and help other people, because we're all suffering with something. And if you don't share it and you just keep it within yourself, you're not doing anybody a service. You're doing a disservice because you're not going out and sharing it and helping somebody. So I just want to open it up. And if you guys have questions, I will figure out how to unmute you all. There's a button somewhere. Or I'll just unmute you one by one. How about that? Ashley?
I'm here.
Oh, okay. I'm like, what am I? Maybe they don't want to be unmuted.
Yeah, maybe. So I know some people are like on their phones, putting kids to bed and stuff.
Awesome. Did you already ask them?
I asked them. I said,
Okay.
you know, and I asked at the beginning, like, if you chose to be a coach, what would be your reason? We kind of talked through the reasons, you know, why I did it and why other people do it. I don't know if anyone else feels like sharing, kind of like Jenny did, but I know we invited you here, like I said this at the beginning, but for anyone who missed it, we invited you here like one by one because like we completely value what you think, and we're not perfect. We're moms. We work from home and our lives are kind of crazy, but we just like fit this into the, small spaces in our days. But we really value your opinions because what you tell us, positive, negative, like, we want to be better, and we want to help people. So that's the gist of it. And that's why we invited you here. And we think you're awesome for even coming.
Yeah, for sure. I think so. Because I was like, you guys could be watching, I don't even know what's on TV anymore. Survivor's on. I just know that records on Wednesday night for me.
What is that, like season 54?
I want to go on that show. Okay. So did you know Felicia's already been on TV? Oh my gosh. She's been on American Ninja Warrior. That's a true story. True story.
Wow. I recognized you. I freaking knew it. I knew it. That's where I recognize you from.
Oh, you're funny.
How far did you make it?
Not very far. It was really sad.
I had a binge-watch marathon of all of those, so maybe.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I did. Like, I spent a stupid amount of time watching. So that's really cool that you did that, though. That's really rad.
It was really cool. And we flew to Kansas. It was 2 years ago. We flew to Kansas, and the producer called me, and he's like, "Can you bring your kids?" And I was like, "Dude, have you never flown with 5 kids? Like,
or any kids?" Oh my God.
I was like, no. So I didn't get an interview because I didn't bring my kids. That's all they wanted was my kids. They didn't care about me.
Are you serious?
They just wanted my kids. Because it's all about the play up. Like, they just want.
Because you're a mom of 5.
Yeah. Like, they don't usually, they have usually like moms with a couple kids, but not 5 kids. We're like, whoa. So anyway, my climbing experience was like 0. And I got up, and they film the show at night. So these are things you don't know about the show. They film it at night, and they started at 6:00, but then they called and they said, "We want you to come at 4:00 because there's supposed to be a storm coming in." And they're like, "Come early." And they direct you in this little pen, and then they keep you there. And I didn't have any blankets. Like, I had nothing. I was not prepared. So if I had my kids, it would have been awful, like bizarre awful. And
you see on the side, like where they televise the family.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So you're just sitting there in this little pen, and they're like, if you have to go to the bathroom, go now. But I didn't go on the show until 1 a.m. I was there from like 4 till 1 a.m. And I like took a pre-workout really fast. So like, I don't even know, like 5 minutes before. Because they're like, if I call your name and you're not here, then you're not going. And I was like, I don't want to miss the
night. You train all that time, and then they stick you in a corral and expect you to perform just on the spot.
Yeah, but you don't get to do the course at all before you get on. So you're watching. So when you got there at 4:00, they had testers, kind of test people, going through the course, and you could watch them do it and see where you needed to improve, or where you could like figure out your skills. But it was like zero help because I was like, well, this is great. So you don't get to do it. Like, your first time going on is your first run and your only run. And so you get up there, and those little quadra steps, the ones that they jump to, they're a lot bigger when you're up there. I was like, excuse me? Because I was like, I'll just jump from side to side. It'll be totally cool. And that was not the case. I like jumped, held on, but you couldn't like grab on because then you'd be DQ'd. But I was like grabbed on and then like turned and then jumped and turned and jumped. So I made it through that one. And then I got to the second one and it was the bar and you had to like release it. And then it like swung down like a roller coaster kind of thing. And then you had to jump on and grab onto a net. Once I got here, I knew I didn't have enough momentum, so I kind of like swung myself, but I didn't swing it enough. And I came down and then I got stuck. And I was like, now what? And it was just gravity. It was like in the water.
Was the water cold?
Yeah, it was freezing. So it was like a walk of shame as you're leaving.
Questions. I've
Whatever.
talked to an actual ninja warrior.
It was fun. But I feel like it's so competitive now that there's no way I could even really get on.
Did you train before? Like, did you go to the gyms and stuff, or did you just Hail Mary it?
Yeah, basically Hail Mary. I went to the gym once that we have here to film my video, and that was the only time I went. And then I contacted a guy, and I was like, hey, I hear that you work with people on American Ninja Warrior. His name was Kenny. And I called him, and I went climbing with him once, and he was like, good luck, just look cute.
Wow.
So that was his advice. He was like, you're not going to do well.
Oh, man.
But
Well, I think it's cool that you tried it. That's really cool.
it was awesome. So my dream is to go on Survivor. Like, that's my dream avatar, is a survivor woman in the jungle.
I don't
fish for
understand that.
everybody. I'm like, I could get fish. I could scuba dive, even though I hate scuba diving. I could do it. Anyway, enough about me. I don't want to talk about me.
Well, that was really cool. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, so it was fun. You got to do something daring. So I might apply, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. But coaching is great, honestly. I would have never met Ashley.
That's true. In fact, I don't think we met for the first time this summer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What if you don't know jack squat about working out, but you know, like, you want to help people, but you don't know anything about working out?
Fake it till you make it.
Or nutrition.
Yeah.
That's what's great about Beachbody is they give you all the tools, and that's why you have Ashley. That's why you have coaches around you helping you, because we're not dietitians. We're not a nutritionist. Like, we don't have that background. Well, Ashley probably does a little bit from nursing school.
They really don't do a lot of that in nursing school. It would shock you.
That's true. That's
Yeah.
true. But that's what's nice about Beachbody is they give you the program, they give you the outline, they give you everything that you need, and you just help them fill in those gaps. And they just make it really easy for you. And if you follow the plan to a T, you're going to see results. If you work out and do the 30-minute workout, you don't have to know much about working out. They're just telling you what to do, and you're just doing it. And if you have a mirror, you can watch your form. I'm kind of a form Nazi, so it's just from my classes and stuff. But I don't know. It's nice to know that Beachbody provides all of that, and you just have to show up and do the work and be proof of the product. So, and I was so scared to do 21 Day Fix because of the containers. I didn't do it for that whole year. And finally, it like went on sale, and everyone's like, you should do it. And I was like, but it's containers, and that seems hard. And once I did it, I was like, oh, it's really not that hard. I didn't think it to be that hard. And like, it's a lot more prepping, but to get that down is kind of a system. Did you think that way, Ashley, or no?
Yeah, it scared me at first as well. And I think going back to what Brandy said, like, people are not looking for someone perfect. They're really just looking for somebody relatable.
Yeah.
And so they're not, I think a lot of people have those fears, but actually some of the best coaches that I know also had no workout experience, no nutrition experience, and they just learned as they went, and they've like failed forward. I don't know if you've heard of that concept, but failed forward, and then they're like, oh my gosh, this is working for me. And you have so much more credibility when you do that, because you're not some, Felicia and I talked about this earlier this week, you're not some like celebrity who has like, photoshopped pictures. You're, whatever, you're a mom, you're a parent, you're a normal person who is just making it work. and helping other people do the same thing. And yeah, and that's really so much more powerful, being able to relate to people.
Yeah. I'm like I almost prefer having somebody fresh who's never done it, because then they're teachable, and then you can teach them and help them along the way, versus somebody who's like, I've been doing this for 40 years and they think they know everything. Sometimes it's a little bit hard to work with those people versus people who just come in and they want to learn everything and they're willing to learn and willing to grow and be vulnerable with people and be open. I was like, I personally haven't opened up a ton about what happened to my mom, here and there, bits and pieces, because it's still, like, I have to be careful of, like, families, feelings, like, there's so many things that come into play. But it's like I'm trying to be a little more open about it, because for me it helps me cope with dealing with it versus just not talking about it at all. For me, I need to talk about it, and people like that I'm vulnerable and willing to talk about it, because it's not something that you're like, hey, I have mental illness, that's great. Like, you just don't want to talk about those things, like having, like, suffering from seasonal depression. Like, I don't want to talk about that, but I need to, because I know other people are struggling with it, and just opening up and being real with people and not being fake. Because I'm like, I'm not doing some other workouts, like I'm doing Beachbody workouts, and just being who you really are and just showing up and doing the work and being who you are and not being somebody else. Like, that's what it's all about. And people will relate with you. And if they don't, you don't need them in their life. Like, negative people, I'm just like, you're out, because I don't need that in my life, and I just want positive people, and we can help each other do better every day.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about being perfect. I fail every single day. Oh my gosh. So. I could write a book on that. Awesome questions, Brandy.
Yeah, any other questions, you guys? That was a great question, Brandy. Questions, comments? What didn't you like? You can tell us.
I know. Is there anything you want us to answer? I guess I could unmute you guys. I don't know how.
Okay.
I feel bad that I was late, but I was trying to.
You did
I
great.
was trying to do everything. It's really hard sometimes.
You did great. You just have to clone yourself next time.
I know. Well, I'd already committed to this, but then they were like, hey, we want you to sing. And I was like, what? Come again? Like, I don't sing. Anyway, I don't want to talk about myself. Awesome. Jenny, Chelsea, Super Sam. That's a cool name.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So Felicia, you said you did Beachbody for a year before you started coaching, correct?
Yeah.
So Ashley, did you start coaching right away, or did you?
No. I did a challenge group 6 months before, and it was a 90-day challenge group with my coach. And I totally quit and stopped posting. And then she, like, messaged me back. The whole time I was Facebook stalking her, obviously. And I was like, she still rocks. I still love her. What's going on here? And she's still positive and bubbly. And she kept messaging me, and sometimes I responded and sometimes it didn't. And then she invited me to, like, a call sort of like this in a group. And I just could not stop thinking about it. And I had initially asked my husband, like, if I could sign up to coach just for the discount on Shakeology. And he's like, no, you don't need that. And I was like, yeah, you're right, I don't. And he was, like, validating my fears. And then, so it was like my excuse. My husband said, no. How many people say that? They just have fears, right? There's a real deeper reason. And so it was like 4 days before my 30th birthday, and I knew something had to change. Like, I knew something had to change. I didn't really know if this is the answer, but I really, really trusted my coach, and I really, like, loved her. And even though we had never met, I felt like we were best friends. And so without telling my husband, I signed up.
That's awesome. Yeah. Sorry, that's not awesome, but
it's all right. He came around. It's okay.
Sometimes you just got to do the, what is it?
Beg for forgiveness instead of ask for permission.
Yes.
Yeah, right now he's upstairs watching the kids. He came home early, he's supportive.
I know. That is one thing. Like, my husband's super supportive. He won't work out with me, but that's okay. He'll drink the shakes, though. That's fine. If I make them in the morning, he'll drink them. But he just doesn't like working out. So that's okay. I'm trying. He's like my hardest challenger.
Always.
But that's okay. Because he sees me, it makes me happy. So he lets me do my thing, especially when we're on vacation. Like we went to Colorado for fall break, took my laptop. The Wi-Fi was awful. But that's okay. I like moved it outside so I could get enough Wi-Fi just to stream my workout. And there every morning there was this family that would walk by me. I'm like, hey, I'm just out here doing my workout again. But my kids knew. It was like, mom's going to do her workout and then we'll go play. Like, I don't know. Like I've been doing it long enough now that they kind of know. Like, are you going to do your workout? I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go right now. So I don't know. They're just supportive from the background. So it's good.
Does that answer your question, Jenny?
Yeah, thank you.
Sorry, that was like a long spout of.
No, it was great.
It's Wednesday. Wednesday. That was a great question. But I don't know. I didn't jump all the way in, even though I know my sister really wanted me to jump all in. I just wasn't. I was so focused on teaching that I was like, I'm just going to do teaching right now. And quite honestly, my sister was like, why are you teaching so much? You can be making so much more money and helping so many more people if you just step away from teaching, which is a very scary thing to do because teaching is a for sure pay and coaching, I'd have to work more for it. And so I've had to step away more for it. But I don't know, it's been really good to step away and be more open and be more real with people and reach out to more people that way. So it's been a good thing, even though it's very scary to do. It's scary to do scary things out of that comfort zone. Because this is like my comfort zone, and jumping out is like, I don't want to do it. But it's been really great for me. My lips are chapped. Do you guys have any more questions? I don't want to keep you on too long.
Okay, I have another question then. How did you get your followers? I don't know what you call people that follow you, whatever.
Yeah, I can answer that. I mean, think about all the different circles, right, Jenny? So Jenny and I met in the town I live in at church in Issaquah. Mm-hmm. And so you have like your church friends, you have maybe some of your kids' school friends, like, you know, people you know from school and in the community. And you have maybe some high school friends you've connected with on Facebook or whatever other social media you're on. And then maybe you have some friends from like, you hike a lot, right, Jenny?
Sure.
You have like hiking friends maybe that aren't in any of those other circles. That's how I started. But since I've started, I have a bunch of random friends, people I've never met, and maybe are just like friends of friends that I've connected with online. And so, I mean, I didn't have even a family member sign up until this year because I think family, you know, they're just maybe a little more skeptical. Not that that's a bad thing, but most of my people who've been in challenge groups, I've known from those circles that I've been in, like people I knew at the hospital, people, you know, just my different niches of my life.
So if I remember right, you would just post like the clean eating for a week on your Facebook, and then people would join that group. Because I know I just said, hey, I want to try Shakeology from you. Yeah. But so it was just doing like those clean eating groups and those kind of things where you would just post on Facebook or randomly, and then people then would say, oh, I want to do something more, and then they would contact you for Beachbody.
Yeah, and that's exactly, like those free groups are sort of like an introduction, and then building like a trusting relationship with me where they knew I was, you know, I was really going to help them no matter what. I've had people in those groups for like 3 years that have never bought a single thing. That's totally fine. I want them to see progress. I want them to feel amazing. And someday they'll jump in, and maybe they'll jump in with both feet and become a coach. Like, I don't know. It's up to them and, you know, what they want to do. I'll never force anyone to do anything. I just want them to feel great. And Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks.
I know I've kind of done the same thing, and through Instagram, I just do hashtags, and that's how people follow me and find me is um, through the hashtags, and then I just reached out to them like, hey, how are you? And eventually some of them message me back and they don't, and that's fine. Like, it's just kind of a give and take kind of thing. And I offer free things. I've done like a free push-up group, which was super fun. I did it last year, I believe. I think it was last year. I did like 100 days of push-ups. So we started with one, incremented by one each day, and we got up to 100 days. And that was really fun. So I've done like different groups. I've done like a crock pot group, just various things. Because I was like, what interests me? What would keep me going? And what would engage me, myself? And so I just try and find things that I would like. Because I'm like, I'm busy with kids. Like, crock pot's great. And so I've done that kind of free group, which is great. Because then I have to research crock pot recipes. And it helps me kind of get out there and find things that my family will like. And sometimes you find stuff and you're like, well, that was not so great, but that's okay.
And I'll add that, like, Jenny, so much of this stuff is already done by the team. So like when I did my first clean eating group, I used the exact same format that my coach used. So all I had to do was post it myself. And I was eating clean anyway, or trying to. I wasn't perfect. And it's not like I had to have this massive like creative process that was so daunting. Everything in the team was duplicatable, and that like really took the stress point out of it for me.
Yeah, that was a great question. One thing I do love about coaching, and because in coaching, there's no requirements or anything to coach. But one thing that our CEO really loves is personal development and reading personal development books. And I was never a guru or one to want to read any sort of book. I don't love to read. And so I listen to audiobooks online or just on my phone when I'm driving, because I'm in the car all the time. And versus listening to the radio and audiobooks, it made a huge difference in my mindset and my shift in how I can handle things. I love reading Brene Brown. She talks about, she has a few books. I can't remember her vulnerable one, but I have it on here. Hang on. I just like it because every day, aside from spiritual study, I try and listen to something that will help me get in the right mindset and the right frame to be able to reach out to people, because it can be very scary and rejection is real. And there are some mean people out there, and I think they're just mean because I don't know if it's, I don't want to say it's jealousy, but I think some people come back at you very negatively, and that can be harsh sometimes, and you kind of just have to let it go. I really had to just let that kind of go, because one of my mom's things was that she would hold on to things and grudges. And so I was very intentional about just letting things go. And when somebody would say something negative to me, I would just kind of release it and be like, just going to let it go. Like, it was fine. I didn't dwell on it. I just moved on. And personal development really helped me with moving on with that. And there's just a ton of books that I listen to, like The Miracle Morning, like just different things. And you don't even have to be coaching to read these things. And sometimes my husband gets in my head and he's like, I don't think these things are helping you. But for me, it's better than listening to the radio. And if I'm cleaning, I can just put my earbuds in and I can just clean and listen to stuff. I really love Brene Brown's. Like, she's just a great author, and she is really funny. And especially if she's narrating it, she's just a Southern woman who she's really funny. I love listening to her. She's like the Southern Christian woman. But that's really helped me get past a lot of the, not really issues, but just things that comes along with coaching. It's just really helped me build my mind and open up about different topics, because you're kind of like this onion. It's not like you want to open up and share everything with everyone. You're just kind of peeling these layers, and it kind of helps you develop as you go, peeling different layers, because you don't want to tell the whole story of your whole life, and just opening up little bits and pieces to people. and just sharing it with them. So that's one thing I do love about this company. It's not just about money, 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 money. It's about bettering yourself mentally and physically, and nutritiously. Is that a word?
Yeah.
It's past my bedtime. Just kidding. I wish it was my bedtime. Anyway, that was a really roundabout question, but I really do love reading personal development, and I love that the company strives to make you better every day in one way or not. I hope that makes sense.
Wow. Anyone else have any more questions before we sign off? You need your beauty rest. Because I know one of my kids is going to come in at 1 o'clock in the morning and say like something dumb, like my sock fell off, or
Right?
I saw a monster.
Oh, can I tell you guys a quick story? I know you guys have to go. I'm sorry, I'm talking a ton. Last week, this has nothing to do with coaching. Last week we got home and the kids opened up the basement window and like climb out of it because they think it's funny, but it's really not, because when you leave and the window's open and you're like, oh my gosh, somebody really could be in our home. I heard my husband downstairs and he was like, he was telling my 5-year-old who already has anxiety and like 1,000 questions. Like if you have a question to ask, he'll ask 1,000 of them. And so my husband's downstairs and he was like, I don't know why you left the window open. He's like, there's probably a monster under your bed or a burglar. And I was like, we're going to be up all night. Why would you say that? And he was like, why did I say that?
Make him get up.
Yeah. He didn't wake up that night, but I was so worried. I was like, did you check under his bed? Did you check every corner of the house? So he would go to bed. So don't tell your kids those things. Anyway, that was a really side note, but hopefully you don't have that. You guys have any other questions? You guys are awesome for being on with us.
Nope.
All right.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, how many hours a week do you guys spend doing the coaching and like reaching out to people?
You can spend, I started this when I was working full time, when I had 2 kids. You can spend as little or as much as you want. But I really make it spend really focused time. Does that make sense? So like I do a power hour every single day. And my power hour consists of inviting and reaching out to people and posting to social media and checking into my groups and doing personal development. And I can get that done in so much faster. Now I can really get it done. But when I was working full time, I just fit it into the cracks of my day. I did like a couple invites on my lunch break and a couple invites when I got home, and reached out to some friends like when I had a chance. And I just told myself that was enough. You know, like what I did today was enough, and that's, so I didn't stress myself out because I didn't want it to be one of those things. And so I know some people that spend more time, but I really try to make it focused time, because when it's focused time, and that's one reason I get up early, because I can get it done without my kids distracting me. When it's focused time, you really don't need to spend that much time. I'm simply like talking about my life on social media, and people are on there anyway, I'm simply talking about my life on social media and inviting people. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, thank you so much. That was great.
Yeah, who am I talking to? Is this Kimber?
My name's Mackenzie. I've been talking with Felicia.
Hi, I'm sorry. I'm answering for Felicia.
Hi.
You're good.
No, you're great. Thank you.
Yeah, that's great. I was like, I try not to, I'm just going to mute you for a second. I should have done that early. Sorry. So Mackenzie, I try and work when my son's at kindergarten. He's in kindergarten. So from like 8:30 until 11, that's when I try and be intentional with my time and do my work. And then when he's home, I will do like trainings or different things if he's watching TV or whatnot, or I'll do my workout then when he's home. So I try, when my kids are away, I work kind of thing. And so I've been able to, at least within an hour, get everything done that I need to. And then I just step away from the computer. And I really try to unplug when I'm not working because you kind of have to step away, because honestly, throughout the day, I can be writing messages and talking back and forth to people. And so I just try and do it in the bits and pieces of my day, but like structure a solid hour to actually work.
Okay, great. That's good to know. Thank you.
You're welcome. You guys have any more questions?
I have a question. One question. What is the biggest, what is the hardest or biggest struggle that you've run into as being a coach and doing that job in addition to everything else as far as being a mom and a wife? What's the biggest challenge in regards to those clashing?
I don't know if Felicia would agree with this. I would actually say it's self-doubt. Just believing that, like, I get glimpses here and there. I feel like it's very similar to parenting, highest of highs, and you know, like really like glimpses of like really great things that make you feel like that crappy day where my kids were awful. It's like, it's still worth it. I don't know if that sounds silly, but I feel like self-doubt has been, at least for me, the biggest stumbling block, because I start to rationalize, and that negative person, the ego, starts to tell me why I don't deserve this, or why it's not worth it, or why I should be doing something else. But then I get like these glimpses of like really amazing like connections with people, and feeling like this is like my real purpose that propel me forward.
Same. I would say self-doubt is huge, especially the last 7 months. I was really good about believing in myself, and I was like, this is great, this is awesome. And then it was like, hold up, why are you doing this kind of thing? And I've really had to step back and be like, why am I doing this? And so that's why if you have a strong why as to why you're pushing forward, it'll help you propel you to keep you going. It's like, I don't know, success doesn't happen overnight. And I was like, every time I listen to anything book through Grant Cardone, he talks about Oprah and how Rocky was turned down, and like these various famous people who worked really hard, but they were turned down so many times before, but they kept going and they kept getting up and they kept doing it. And it's like I keep getting messages of people who are being like, this is so great, I worked out today and I feel great. And you get those little glimpses of, I am making a difference kind of thing. And that helps you keep going, because sometimes you wonder, like, I don't know if I'm making any difference, but then you get a message or somebody will send you something and you're like, thank you so much for sharing that. That really helped me. And that's just like a little glimmer of hope where you're like, I can keep going. This is why I'm supposed to be doing this. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense, Brandy?
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that, both of you.
Yeah. Those are great questions, you guys. Awesome. Any other questions? I don't want to keep you guys on too long. You guys already been here an hour.
No.
Is that a no?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, awesome. What's up?
I said, thanks for coming. You guys are great.
I know. Thank you. That was so awesome.
Well, thank you.
For sure. And if you guys have any questions, reach out to Ashley or whoever invited you, myself. Well, there's only 2 of us, so I'm just saying. But thank you guys for getting on and answering questions and just being real with us. Like, that's all it's about, is just being real and being open. And Ashley's amazing, by the way, for getting on. I was trying to make her admin of this so she could run it all, and it was not letting me. So sometimes technology is not my friend. That's probably my biggest downfall. Is figuring out how to work my stuff. But yeah, you guys are great. Thanks, Ashley. Thanks, Brandy, Kimber, Jenny, and Mackenzie. You guys are fantastic.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you. Have a great night. Rock your Thursday.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, wait, I gotta stop.